After Scott Eli and his father talked with a salesman from an energy company about signing the lease allowing gas drilling on their land in northern Pennsylvania, he said he felt certain it required the company to leave the property as good as new. You know, the problem that Mr. Eli had when he said he was surprised several years later when the drilling company informed them that rather than draining and hauling away the toxic drilling sludge stored in large waste ponds on the property, it would leave the water, cover it with dirt, and seed the area with grass. He knew that waste pond liners can leak, seeping contaminated waste. So you have an example here of this family in northern Pennsylvania signs a lease with Cabot Oil and Gas. The salesman says, we're going to leave your property as good as new. You don't have to worry about a thing. The problem is they did leave it like new, with a new underground pond full of toxic sludge. In fact, multiple underground ponds full of toxic sludge with a new seeded lawn on top. And the Eli family said, I guess our terms should have been clearer about requiring the company to remove the waste pits after drilling. We learned that the hard way. What these gas companies know, and we have reported in the past that they use PSYOPs, they use former military personnel to go in, divide communities. They know that they're dealing with people who are obviously poor enough that they need to make the money by leasing their land to them. Unsophisticated enough insofar as, not most people in general, never mind most rural people, don't sit down with contracts that have been drawn up by teams of lawyers to sort of confuse and make what they're signing away somewhat opaque. They're just not used to it. And lawyers in these towns are not used to it either. That's just the reality. And so they come in, and what these oil companies do is what all major companies do in the absence of regulation. This is the famed free market that libertarians are talking about all the time, right? They pass off externalities. So when they say we have a clean and cheap new fuel, it means it's clean in terms of their process when they sell it to somebody else. It's cheap in terms of what it costs them, but it's not clean if you look to the farmland and the aqueducts that have been destroyed. Maybe clean in the way they burn it, but it's not clean in the way they get it. And it's cheap because they don't pay for the cleanup of the mess they make in drawing it. These are externalities. This is what corporations do all the time. And there is no world where the free market can deal with this. There is no world where an individual has the means and the ability that a corporation with tons of money to spend on lawyers, tons of money to spend on PR, tons of money to tie up lawsuits for years and years and years in courts. There is no free market. That doesn't exist. There's simply a corporate feudalism where might will win. And they'll call it right. This New York Times story found that fewer than half the leases require companies to compensate landowners for water contamination. Most leases grant gas companies broad rights to decide where they can cut down trees, store chemicals, build roads and drill. Companies are permitted to operate generators and spotlights through the night near homes during drilling. Most leases are for 3 to 5 years, but at least 2/3 of those reviewed by the Times allow extensions without additional approval from landowners. Well, as the libertarians would say, caveat emptor, if you are not one of those farmers living in rural Pennsylvania or rural New York who hasn't bothered to take the time to get a law degree and practice law for 10 years in contracts, then it's your own damn fault.